This was a requested song. We're gonna take a little trip through realities. We're gonna go to Bryan land. We're going to go to the center of the universe for white trash, the Vickers house. Jeez, that's really loud, isn't it? Hang on a second. It's drowning me out here. So, we're going to go to the Bryan zone. We're going to go to White Trash Central. Center of the universe of white trash. The Vickers house. We are going to cover some stew news. I thought there was a particularly interesting interview with that Stu conducted. I'll let it be a surprise. And of course, we're going to go to Manhattan, which is another universe into of itself, and do a little Flaco update. And there might be some more goodies in there I haven't decided on yet, but we'll go through it. I don't want this stream to be too long, but let's get into it. Let's start right off the bat here. Dude, you're not supposed to be on yet. Flaco news. Flaco's death has caused quite the stir. It's terrible. It's terrible. They want to demolish skyscrapers now. Those murderous skyscrapers, they took Flaco out. And now, yes, you heard this right. New York City wants to tear down its skyscrapers and install bird safety devices, whatever the fuck that is, and have that be mandated legislation to protect all the birdies out there. Protect all our feathered friends. We're going to read this article. I'm going to torture you all with this article, and that's how we're going to start off the show. That's just how this is going to go. Yeah. Celebrity owl Flaco's recent death in NYC highlights how bird strikes with buildings are strikingly common, including in Virginia. Random little fact thrown in there. At VCU, an avian ecologist, Leslie Bullock, offers a window into how windows and migration are a dangerous mix. VCU students are advancing data collection. And so we have head of the news is the recent death of Flaco, a Eurasian eagle owl who escaped from New York's famed Central Park Zoo last year. Famed. It's not like this little tiny fucking zoo that's poorly kept or anything. Brought new attention to the issue of the bird strikes. Experts estimate that roughly 1 billion birds die in the U.S. every year in collisions with buildings and skyscrapers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They estimate 1 billion birds die due to flying into skyscrapers across the U.S. 1 billion birds a year. At Virginia's Commonwealth University Center for Environmental Studies, which is part of the VCU Life Sciences, we asked avian ecologist and associate professor Leslie Bullock for some insight. And let's see, there was a funny thing in here. If my music wouldn't keep fucking with me and playing commercials, even though ad blocker is on. I don't know how it's getting through. I need new ad blocker. Please recommend for me a new ad blocker. Because I need one, because mine's not working anymore. The YouTube ads, man. He calls owls winged otters. Persip calls owls tree rats. Uh, Indeed, many of us have heard a thump of a bird hitting a house or apartment window. What actually causes this? Window glass can act like a mirror, reflect back images of skies, trees, and other vegetations. Birds perceive it as a habitat and places to forage for food. Also, birds that migrate at night can be attracted to, distorted by artificial light. Where was it that they wanted to remove the skyscrapers? That was a petition. I'll have to. I swear it was in this article. Well, we'll get back to. Well, I'll fill in more Flaco news. I think you've all been tortured enough with Flaco news. But yes, I should have pulled up the ordinance. That was old, but that's older. So I was sent a frightening image. A very frightening image of a household so white trash, so unclean, so tainted, so infested with what I would call the possession of white trash. Yes, the spirits of white trash exist in this house. It's an unholy house. The stuff of nightmares, ladies and gentlemen. And you might be curious whose house this is. Who could have this level of possession of the white trash? Like a void, a prison for the trashiest of trash. And as you can see, trash is also strewn across the floor, as you would expect. Here, let me pull up a better picture here. Let's pull up a larger picture. We need to really inspect this, ladies and gentlemen. Food crunched into the carpet. Nobody's cleaned ever. Baby things, toys next to leftover bags of fast food. Grubhub delivery. We've got probably the white trashiest of soft drinks, Mountain Dew cans, just sprawled across the carpet on the floor. Red plastic cups, because God forbid Mrs. Vickers actually has to wash a goddamn cup or plate or anything. Notice it's all plastic. It's all plastic. Why do you think Faith never questioned the paper plates? She never fucking used an actual plate. Everything is disposable. Nobody wants to wash anything. It's got to go right in the trash. Or in the Vickers household, the floor. Because who gives a fuck? The white trash permeates through the walls. Can you imagine if somebody tries to fucking buy this house and move into it? There'll be even more white trash in the Vickers. Haunted by their spirits. Look at this. You can see ketchup packets. Lots of cans of soda. Hold on. Listen. We need to enhance even more. We can enhance. We really need to examine the floor here. Children's toys. Skittles. It's all candy. Random playing cards with it looks like cookies. Cookies crunched in. The fuck? What even is this? Candy? I think that might even be that might be actual Skittles. The Skittles bag and the actual Skittles here. Let's see. Hangers. Clothes. Of course, all of the trash in the house is pushed into the baby toys. Got to get those babies nice and healthy. Build up the immune system early, because God only knows what lives in this house. Kind of diseases, molds, bacteria. God only knows what's growing in the Vickers household. You got to build immunity early. So they push all their trash and filth into the baby's toys. Garbage bags filled with garbage that they can't be bothered to actually pull out to the street. Notice the vacuum might be the most filthy object in the room. Never been used. It's been moved around, but why use the vacuum when you could just put it in a pile of trash and forget about it? Mrs. Vickers ain't cleaning, and Mr. Vickers doesn't even have any teeth left. Do you think he cares about vacuuming the carpet? I think not. Now let's move to here. We have a PS5 controller from the 5 PS5s that Vickers bought to dab on Ralph for having so much money that he put on his credit cards, and now he's filing for bankruptcy. And it looks like an old piece of frozen pizza. Very nice. Under the TV. Some cookies. I don't know what this is. Is this like crumbs? Listen. Ants here. Looks like some kind of cookie crumbs. Or like somebody smashed cookies up there. Can't be bothered to clean that. Too much work. We could see where all the consoles are kept, it looks like. Oh, and look. Hillbilly baby formula, also known as Benadryl, to drug the kids when they're naughty. Put their asses to sleep. Notice there are a lot of bottles of Benadryl here. Maybe mommy and daddy like a little nip every now and then too. Baby bottle. Notice it's right next to the baby bottle. Well, that's the most damning. Holy fuck. It's right next to the baby bottle. The Benadryl. Shocker there. Shocker there. Hillbilly babysitter Benadryl. Let's see here. We've got the consoles. Filthy, disgusting, caked in dust. Look, that might even be N64 games, it looks like. You know, Vickers is an avid collector. Classic gaming. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like it may be a CD. Let's go to the chat here. Go to the chat. Alright. Vickers faded. Then how? He's like Lil Wayne. What is this cunt taking? Fentanyl? High-dose Benadryl is a dissociative crazy drug where you see demon ghost people. It's true. It can become that. Especially when you mix it with painkillers. And we know the Vickers are on all kinds of painkillers. So I'm not surprised by the multiple bottles of Benadryl next to the baby bottle. Of course, white trash love to also feed their kids Benadryl, so they could play video games or, dream for 6 hours about their court papers. I see why Faith ran away across the country. Well, why do you think she went to Ralph's house and she didn't even raise an eyebrow? The logical thing to do is sell the vacuum. Yeah, exactly. Meaning for that strong. Back at a Wally Wally world. Yes, he is. This is some real fucking white trash shit. It's unbelievable. But it gets realer and realer. People didn't believe me that the Vickers were just pure white trash. Listen, I don't know a lot of things, but I know what pure white trash is. I know what pure white trash is, and, boy, it's tough. It's tough in the Vickers household. So now let's move on to our next segment. Our next piece tonight, we're going into the Bryan zone. So you better be ready for it. Last we had checked in with Bryan, he had found Christ. He had found it in his heart to forgive all of his enemies. He had let go all of the anger, all of the rage. He just wanted to be buddies again. What happened, Bryan? What reality have we gone to now, Bri? Well, we're gonna get into it now. Get into it. I'm sorry. There was a very loud noise in my apartment. Okay. Now, go to Bri. We'll kick it off where we start. We'll do it as a little recap on Bryan. For those that don't know, and you might not know, after last week's stream, Bryan went back to the Kiwi Farms. He broke his addiction. Broke to his addiction, I mean. Not broke his addiction. You know. He relapsed. And he went back to the Kiwi Farms and he posted, I don't know, like 50 fucking times. Couldn't help himself. Couldn't help himself. And here's Dark Ninja here. And he's Bryan has been socking his Twitter account for a while. And of course it's, you know, shocker here. It's the COD of the sector. We all knew already, Dark Ninja. As you know, we called Bryan out on the show. And things start to pick up. I think around here, yes. People start posting about the stream. And here's Bryan. Here's Bryan going nuts. Bryan just going wild. Bryan going completely nuts. Here's Bryan. I'm going to attempt something that in the past has been used to demonize me, but my Bible teachings are testing me to try to do the right thing again. I do not have a Twitter account since my last account called King of Pole 3. I am going to make this clear. There is no evidence I run that account or many others over the years that have been associated to me. It is sheer guessing and nothing else. Last night, 3 people on stream. Bryan is so nuts. 3 people on stream openly acted hyperbolic, making various things up, and had agendas to paint a very clear picture of something with zero actual evidence to the contrary. X is some site where Elon Musk claims it's free speech but immediately will hide you or ban you for typing the word tranny. Vickers openly flagged out my last account and my appeal was revoked because I called someone a tranny. It's a shit site, and the only accounts even tied to social media have a private Discord that has been made time and time again public by either out of context conversations where one side frames the events in an intentional misinterpretation. B. Falsification of DMs that never happened for content for a show or some petty vindictive reasoning. C. Being who you alone for the sake of harming. Or, in one instance, D. Claim you need a friend or are suicidal for a conversation in an attempt to become famous by recording me telling you to seek help. That one might be the most delusional, Bryan. Become famous. Become famous. Okay, Bryan. Bro, you're really fucking firmly planted in reality, bro. Holy Jesus Bryan. I read this and I fucking fell over. Not a single person here is going to find anything even remotely close says that I've run a Twitter account called that or made any comments to this. Following this was the claim I swatted someone with no actual evidence this occurred or actual context given. Bryan, you're literally typing in my chat that you're confirming that you did call the police. Which I clarified, you called the police on this person to try to prevent the swatting in quotation marks. I mean, you did do that. And you confirmed it. And I had DMs showing it. And there was a recording of you calling them. Okay. Do you really believe, ladies and gentlemen, do you really believe this is real? Do you really believe this is real? I never swatted a lolcow named Dark Ninja. The man claimed to do what Zoom did to you in a heated conversation about his repeated harassment of me with his friends using this site and many others as a weapon for his delusions, and I stole his internet girlfriend. I have witnessed firsthand this person actually be aware of swattings or working directly with Carr and Barnhill to dox and potentially swat others, to the point that I had to record a very conversation where I asked this person to stop doing these things and to go to the police to deal with his problems correctly with him, demanding I get swatters locked up for his behaviors online to people. God, Bryan, I wish you used commas or something. Can't even take a breath. I mean, it's just like Bryan talking, so I guess why would there be commas? By claiming you ought to do what Zoom did to me, he meant swat me as he has been a witness to this prior with that group. I immediately contacted my police department, confirming exactly what I just said. I immediately contacted my police department and non-emergency PD officer, as he was already extremely doxxed, to give them a warning that this person claimed he was going to do this. My reaction is normal for a man who is regularly doxxed and swatted for amusement. No SWAT teams or false police reports with that intent were given. No lies were told over the phone to suggest that this unstable individual was not a threat to me or my family by his given statements or actions prior. To claim me prepared for a swatting by an individual who openly had the intention of swatting is a gross misreporting of events to justify harmful acts of someone, in my opinion. However, I am not unaware of my antics online, as I bring things to my doorstep by doing things and being very vocal regarding my thoughts or opinions of degenerates online, which has led to many of these people at my doorstep framing me as who they are. This message isn't intended to garner an audience here, but to directly address what occurred last night as a shameful display wanted to make money or content with people retarded by framing by... Hold on a second. We gotta go back. This message isn't intended to garner an audience here. That's exactly what it is intended for, Bryan. First of all, you're gonna fucking post on the farms where you've been banned. You have received cease and desist notices not to post on. People have put your social security number, pictures of your family, all of this stuff on the farms. You have been told time and time again to stay away from the farms. This is so mentally ill that you continue to post here in your own thread and bump your own thread so people can harass you and make fun of you in your own thread, and you can humiliate yourself yet again. Okay. But you go here anyway to post this insane, this absolutely unhinged, insane novel, okay? Addressing something in the vaguest of terms that no one who didn't watch my stream would even understand what the fuck he's talking about. Like, nobody would understand this at all. without actually watching my stream, right? So these people have no context into even what he's really talking about. Because even though it was posted about in the thread previously, it doesn't mean that any of these people watch. They probably didn't. They don't have any interest in watching my stream in a dead thread like Bryan's. The only time Bryan's thread is posted when he's actively posting in it. But he loves it so much that this thread is active that he has to post it in himself. So, there are just so many things wrong even in that little tiny piece of the sentence that we're gonna go for it. Just let me grab a little drink here. Unbelievable. Got to keep the X-Files music going we got to keep it going just so I can get in the zone of even understanding what this is. All right. I got to find where I was. Okay. So we were at, this message isn't intended to garner an audience here, which is exactly what it's meant to garner as an audience there. So, but, okay, so he says, but to directly address what occurred last night is the shameful display coordinated to make money and or content with people returning in quotation marks. So obviously this is a reference to me. I'm not making any money doing this. I don't even have an option where you can donate any money to my streams. I mean, I really don't. I don't even have an option to receive any super chats or anything. So money is just delusional, Bryan. And or content. You showed up in my chat. You're the one who derailed the entire stream and showed up in my chat. So, all right. So by, trying to frame a picture of event, me trying to frame a picture of events is Ralph coming on my show and randomly saying, there's like a stock everybody knows is Bryan that's on Twitter right now. And I said, okay, let's pull it up. And then I said, I'll read it and then I'll know immediately if it's Bryan. And as we're looking at replies that this account is doing on Twitter, the account magically deleted midstream, like in the middle of the stream. And the account was like posting for 3 months, consistently for 3 months. So this is, now Bryan is trying to say that I framed him for 3 months. I had this account actively posted on it and then deleted it in the middle of my live stream to get at Bryan, and he doesn't know anything about it, even though it sounds exactly like Bryan and posts all the things that Bryan would talk about, including fighting with Dark Ninja and referencing Bryan constantly, with which no one else does except for Bryan, because he talks about himself in the third person. I mean, it's ridiculous. So he says, demanded I must show up to stream to make the people lying and faming me money. Again, money. And content to clip whether the host of that stream was intended this or not is how it was presented to the audience. That's not how it was presented to the audience. Well, okay, Bryan. What was presented to the audience? Extremely inappropriate and fully expected by this kind of crowd that I participated in many times. I'm going to officially say that for the users themselves who have spent years of their life here raging at me, or more so follow me out of spite or some sort of physical emotional reaction to me, I am sorry that I put you in such a rage. And you have held that for so long. My apologies won't take that away, but I don't want to forgive things as they stand and try to turn away from this. People deserve peaceful resolution and chances to things that seem unfixable at times. I ask people to respect that my wife or children, for they have not been guests on my shows, or have my videos, and there's no way to spin attempting to harass them since October 2023 in some meaningful way. They deserve it in quotation marks based off lies and conversations that unironically never happened, or me calling you names or laughing at your degenerate behaviors online to an audience. I do not post in my thread on purpose. I do not post in my thread on purpose, but as a formal attempt at trying to do the right thing, I would like to say I am sorry. My actions have made people extremely angry, enough that the term everything is fair game is applied on me and time again when I have disavowed this behavior for some time, in my opinion. I wish everyone a blessed day, and I hope for those that care enough to read. Oh, what's this? This is spooky music. I wish everyone a blessed day and hope for you and care enough to read that in your days are good, and that hopefully one day you do not get to experience being mischaracterized and slandered in such a way. Thank you. Listen, Godwinson got his KOP voice for me. All right. We're going to clarify this. Because I'm not capable of doing voices, so I just do what I think Bryan sounds like, which is like a weird Floridian English. Whatever. Weird Floridian accent that kind of sounds southern at times. So people telling Bryan, please. People linking, it's my account. Oh, this is Final Fantasy. I think that's a little too intense for me. He's a man of God, Perspic. Forgive him. Forgive him is the least you should do. Guys, Godwinson's a copy of me. No, that's not what I'm saying, retard. You sounded like a cat going through a sausage grinder. Well, my voice is fucked right now. Gator voice better. I don't even remember what the gator. Persip is trying to grift off Bryan's infinite forgiveness. Yes. Yeah, I know Florida's in the South, but it's different. You know, it's just different. The different kind. It's not like Ralph's Southern accent, but in my head, it is. My impression of it. And see now, Bryan is going to. He's gonna fight the haters here. Let's see. I like this response. I'm gonna read it, but I'm not gonna read it in the Bryan voice because my voice is was shot before it even started this stream. The call you are referencing, Kyle Polly, was an ambush where it was in VC discussing video games and firearms. When Shamu and others approached me and directly demanded a IBS of events in October regarding Shamu and grossly offensive and SO Shaggy's efforts to keep me off scheduled interview on the kill stream. So there was never a scheduled interview, Bryan, that I have any recollection or knowledge of with you ever. The only scheduled interview, well, no, there was one. I scheduled it. That was very early. That was in like July, I want to say. That's it. No October. You were never scheduled for October. You're fucking nuts. Nobody even knows what he's talking about. This is the insane thing. Nobody knows who any of these people even are. They know who Ralph is. Those GMs shown were directly while Ralph was live streaming, was live demanding SO Shaggy, Shamu, and Grossly explain the situation regarding why they were blocking letting me on for an interview about the Kino Casino. That's misinterpretation of what was going on. Ralph wanted to know why there was an issue with Bryan, but because Bryan had been talking shit and I had bailed him out a few times, but Bryan was still talking shit. So I had to explain to Ralph that Bryan is crazy. That Bryan's a lunatic. My comment was directly to say, well, now I have to explain this to Ralph when I'm on. They refused to directly explain it to him when he demanded it. Yeah, I wonder why, Ralph. This was all live on the kill stream, Cal Poly. It wasn't, I told Ralph, it's because you're crazy, which was true. I mean, do I really need to explain what you're up to, Bryan, that you're trying to blackmail people and you're losing your mind? And isn't that embarrassing to you? I had zero intention of trying to hold some recorded debate with Shamu or argue with someone who already was bad faith to begin with. Over 6-month-old drama that nobody but him cared about. But if you listen to the recording, Bryan, it's you dropping in on Shamu and going nuts, threatening him and saying he destroyed your life. There was no lied to person. It's misrepresentation of events once again. It's just people shitting on Bryan. Right, responding to every post is immediately responded to by Bryan. I'll just let the
treat yourself.
Do this one. We'll do the opening bombing. It really wants to play. All right. You repeatedly spam my kids and ex-wife docs at Discord and on Cow just because I called you a faggot on the internet. Never once swatted you. Well, you're all nuts. I can't tell what's true and not with you. With you nutties. I really can't. That's not my account. That's not my account. Ninja is extremely doxxed and openly gets directly involved with fucking with people in the lives. Whatever that is. His antics have been reported on for years. Isaac is Isaac to me, just like you have all taken away my username for my real name. His posts are tied to him. Nothing about that is a threat. Stop overanalyzing things. Everyone die of AIDS. Die, go die. Bryan just... Repeatedly, Ninja Isaac's newfound friends of former Plate Gang would spam my phone with text messages of his actual docs in an attempt to get me to react to Ninja. The docs of his address, not his ex-wife or child. In a heated conversation with this guy, I decided to show him directly that his group of people he was hanging out with were texting me his docs, and that it can be weaponized if used that way by people with malicious intent. His reaction is to falsely claim I have now doxed his child, when currently he is divorced with no visitation to his own child. And the child lives in his ex-wife's home, not his doxed address. It sounds like you're pretty much just doxing the guy and putting all his information out there, Bryan. It sounds like it's being weaponized by you, Bryan. Just putting that out there, buddy. In response, he went to a man called Warhammer and gave them my entire docs and asked them to contact my employer and my wife's extended family to attempt to get me fired and or separated from my wife and children. He went to a woman named Chuckles and falsified DMs between me and her that were openly streamed on by her and caught faking live on air. Were openly streamed on by her and caught faking live on air. Somebody at Bryan got to go back to school, buddy. Users called into her show to point this very clearly out to her, and she was so embarrassed by this that she stopped streaming completely after this event. As shown in the last post, my advice to him was to stop working with Zoom and Plate Gang to take out people who made fun of him. All of this is extremely levels of A-logging, with grossly misleading justification to say it's okay to do this stuff. Yeah, I have done that. Yeah, I have done that. So now I have to read this. Bryan just admits it. I've done it. Yes, I did do that. Absolutely. Let me tell you what else I did. There's plenty people run shows making fun of lolcows. Fuck Josh. Fuck Turkey Tom. Utter faggotry. When people try to give you decent advice, you just lash out, throw a tantrum, and then accuse them of gay ops. Slowly, these people began to hate you. Yeah, I have done that. Well, I'm glad you acknowledge it, Bryan. I'm glad you acknowledge it, Bryan. I'm glad you acknowledge it. I'm not even going to read the rest. Yeah, I've done that a million times. Oh, here's a good one. Good one. Simp for Jim. Always the backup card for Bryan. When he's really pushed into a corner, all of a sudden he'll simp for Jim. I owe Jim an apology for my statements, especially about Jade. She was a saint when I did know her, and I shouldn't have gone low. I wish I could say to him personally, but this would have to do. An apology on Kiwi Farms, Bryan? In her own thread, I guess he's just guaranteed, but Jim is definitely reading my thread. My anger towards him was due in fact that he openly told his massive audience that I ran a swatting group called Sneed Social and claimed that Sprite header OP pointed this. Both Gator and Kino also claimed this and refused to correct the record with Kino Casino. Clearly, these are false claims, and that pissed me off considering how doxed I am and how people tend to enter my real life off of the words of others with no proof, especially Jim's massive audience. Overall, that is my issue regarding recent events. Other than that, I am sincerely sorry about my bad comments to his wife. She didn't deserve that. Well, they kind of did deserve that when he said you fucking ran Sneed Social and were like swatting people across the country. I don't know. I guess they're forgiven. They're forgiven. I mean, Bryan blew the entire debate against Gator, like completely. But he still beat Gator. In my mind, he still beat Gator, but Bryan, all you had to do was not be schizophrenic and just say, why did you say I was this person? But no, you had to start just making stuff up. Dark Ninja returns. Here's Bryan with the retort. You're a liar. You don't have my current address, says Dark Ninja. And he says, this music's kind of fitting. How could I dox your kid, but also not dox them if I apparently was not texted by your friends your specific address? How can you explain the audio recording of what Warhammer says? He names you specifically as the person who came to him to go after my employer and family. He declares it's over. Child's alleged doxed. That I never. Again, I have honored our ceasefire and you shouldn't stop trying to fuck with people's lives because others are making fun of you. We're returning to Bryan's. Like, I can't even get over how retarded this sentence is. How can I dox your kid, but also not dox them if I apparently was not texted by your friends your specific address? I don't even understand what the sentence is, but it just sounds like Bryan did, in fact, dox Dark Ninja's daughter. He did just retweet something. It's nonsense. Bryan admits it was literally like a retweet or some bullshit. More people dunking on Bryan. I like this one, so we'll read it. Regardless of the falsified information about me to others in recent events, I'm married for many years now with 2 children and a career job. I've never done porn or any kind of behavior that would be inappropriate in that category. My only degenerate event was now 10 years old in my early to mid 20s over a voice call on drugs and alcohol about Danny. I've repented for my sins and focused on sustaining a happy, healthy home with my family for many years. Oh, that's very wholesome, right, Bryan? Very wholesome indeed. Gonzo's ghost told him? How do you know that? Can you contact the dead? He missed the wedding, but he still wants to be invited to the funeral. I would, please, somebody back. You know, all of these fucking freaks are gonna have cameras and stuff at the fucking funeral. He's still trying to slide into Jade's DMs. He's trying to get to 500 pages. Yeah, person sees himself at Bryan's tier, so he fights with him. Well, I mean, honestly, I fuck with Bryan because I was friends with Bryan for many years, and this is my way of, you know, Bryan says all these things about me. So now I got to get my jabs back in. And I guess after this stream, we'll be even for a little while, but somebody just going on and on about how I'm a liar and set them up and frame them. I mean, it's crazy. How am I not supposed to respond to this? I used to erotic roleplay with Perspic back on Kiwi Farms, and even then he'd reference Bryan at awkward moments. Sure you did, buddy. Sure you did. Insane. I actually had very, very few contacts. I didn't really talk very much to people on farms. It's not really my... not as dedicated as the people who now use the farms are. I do not hate Jim. He pissed me off by telling his massive audience that I'm a swatter, running a swatting website when I'm fully doxxed. This is like the same post over again. I am fully doxxed all the way to my actual employment. How can you not see the glaring issue someone would have if a content creator just blasted you wrongfully about something you had no involvement in or even were aware existed? I'm not sure what you want to hear, except that I am sorry for my statements about his wife. It was inappropriate. Alright, we gotta change the Twilight Zone music. I'm bored of it. Anybody have anybody have a suggestion for spooky music for Bryan? Please send in a song. I need a new spooky song for Bryan. I need something new. Think of something. Please post the receipts. I can prove said you love me. Perspic. I got receipts. Okay, bro. Bryan, the gay Jew versus the Iranian Guard General Perspic. A tale as old as time. It really is. You want Rhythm of the Night? Okay, we could do Rhythm. I could do that. You know he was listening to that while he was posting that.
Oh yeah, the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm of my life. My life.
How much time have we got? Okay, we haven't gone that long. I feel like we've done it like over an hour. Apparently not. And then I have some more things to go into. We got Deep Throat. I want to go over a little bit of the Deep Throat stuff on Surfer's channel. I do not plan on entering this sector drama anymore. I gotta lower you a little, Bryan. Talking over me. Says, yeah, I do not plan on entering the sector drama anymore. My reason I did not call into Perspicacity's stream was because I did not want to subject myself to justifying false allegations or misinterpretations of events for a show. I would have said these same things to Perspicacity and the other two if it was set up only to make content and get donations or clout. Okay, Bryan. How delusional are you, bro? I appreciate what you say. What money? What donations? What clout? Bro, you got no clout anymore. You got no clout. Maybe for somebody who has 0 viewers. Bryan quoting scripture here. Can you believe this? It just goes and goes and goes and goes. He doesn't stop. Could spend 2 hours if I read all of them. I gotta read this one. It's good. I was spammed and solicited his docs directly from his own group of people without ever wanting it. I don't think Bryan understands what solicited means. Solicited, Bryan, means you requested it. You procured it for yourself. You asked for it. You were trying to procure it. You wanted it. You solicited it. So, okay. I was spammed and solicited his docs directly from his own group of people without ever wanting it. Okay, Bryan. Whatever you say. Looking into it or asking for it. He claims publicly I doxed his child and is now claiming there is no dox and that it's not correct. I showed evidence of him. So what are you trying to say, Bryan? That you doxed his child? Just shut up. I showed evidence of him giving my personal info over to a guy who then followed up by trying to get me fired and my wife to leave me based on his conversations with him about what he claims happened that he cannot define. I forgive Ninja, but this is just absolutely bad faith in any chance of imagination, and you should repent for it. I'm not making false claims or just hollering about randoms that I perceive some kind of slight. I'm directly addressing false or misinterpreted claims in a formal manner about specific people who also made claims and did things to me in a verifiable manner. Again, repent. Bryan just requesting everybody repent. All right. Checking in on the chat here. It's better than your bishing. Congrats to Bryan losing all his clout. He's in a manic phase or high off some drug. Uh-oh. The apostle Bryan. Kind Bryan suffices, everyone. Repent, child. Oh, okay. Here we go. The Denton leaks. The Denton leaks you are referring to, I never made up. That did not happen, and people falsified it to me. Bryan, the Facebook Denton leaks were given to you. You were supposed to wait until they were verified, but you published them early. And then were very mad when everybody said that you published them early. Because they weren't verified. And were clearly fake. It was clearly fake, Bryan. That did happen, and people falsified it to me. My crime is running with it before Milo verified it, and getting betrayed by Frederick, who wanted to save face of his website rather than explain correctly how events went down. Again, repent and let go of your now 5+ years anger you have focused on me. God, forgive. Only God has superiority over me and judges me. Just because I refused for many years to listen to my Lord and Savior does not remove my lie you perceive falsely here. I'll pray for you in your struggles, as it seems you fight with demons as much as I have. Repent, friend. I've ran my show and had a decade-long relationships with various degrees of Z to actual celebrities over the years. I have never had a tokered coattails of anyone when I did my own things and people interacted with me and my content. This is when you know Bryan's getting really, really manic because half the words are completely misspelled and there's no longer really any punctuation at all. Being disingenuous about events for this long is unhealthy. And overall, owning things that are true is the righteous path. Talk to God. Do not talk to me about it, or claim I'm something that's superior to others' morals. This site itself is a sin to God. Is a sin on God. This site itself, I think he means onto God, but this site itself is a sin on God. And I believe you are aware of that. Adamska. Whoever the fuck this guy is, another guy Bryan's obsessed with. I forgive you, and God always forgives. I think that might be Bryan's last post. It inspired a lot of hatred. But yeah, that was Bryan's last post. All right. I get enough doses of Bryan doing the show. That's all the doses of Bryan I need personally. You know, that's all I need from Bryan. Both of these are misaligned. Oh no, this one's good. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna watch this, and then after I'm done with this, move on to one more thing. I only planned about an hour and a half. Pay careful attention to the chat. Pay careful attention to the chat.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Have you? To be exiles?
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
Of course, Gonzalo Lira.
I'm trying to figure out like
Dead
what the
again.
purpose of this
One
was.
last
And Deep
time.
Throat, if you'd like to call in and explain the vision behind this bizarre video, please.
I mean, it's kind of fitting that they start this whole thing out with the foregone conclusion that Lyra is
Look
dead.
very carefully
In
at the
all
chat,
likelihood,
ladies and gentlemen.
He's just,
Look very carefully at the
sitting
chat.
in a cell somewhere.
I'm really
unbathed
watching
and
this to look at the
unwarmed.
chat because the
The
chat
time
is
has come
hilarious.
for us to declare victory. Our minds converged on a singular point and delivered a prediction of the future. Adam was proven wrong once again. He is destined to fail in his endeavors to revive the sector because he himself is a failure. A failed son who threw away his aristocratic lineage for cheap drugs.
I don't understand what people don't understand the existence of the sector. It cannot be destroyed, but it can't really be built upon either. It's just kind of rubble that we all hide in and kill each other over. It's a war zone, people. It's a war zone. It is creation and destruction in a simultaneous manner.
Who threw away everything on the altar of hedonism to bounce on the ounce to become another sideshow on the Jeremy Carl show. This is said with glee. We bask in the burning of the House of Edge. It will lie in a smoldering ruin, with the young baronet locked away in the cuck corner, relying on his Iranian homosexual lover to comfort him. The prophecy has been fulfilled and the sector has died. We can finally set them free. We have won. To illustrate this point, we must travel in the TARDIS back to the 15th of May 2023 at...
Okay, so let's address it. Let's address this properly. Have a little bit of fun with it.
I'll respond to Deep Throat in a way that he can understand. Deep Throat, I'm putting a beacon out to you, summon you to discuss the meaning of this betrayal, this snakening, your hatred of all things, your downer mentality, that you think you could say that everybody is garbage and everything. It is, but for you to say it, this is a war zone. This is rubble. No understanding. I just want you to know that this is bullshit.
I just wanted him to understand in his own language.
Adam streamed his version of the Kino Casino episode 7. In this stream he responds to a video we made. The video Adam responded argued the sector was dead and it was futile for Adam to try to revive it. The original video was posted on the 7th of May of 2023. It was the 14th transmission.
It's the segment on Deep Throat, because Deep Throat's been making some predictions on the sector that I feel I must chime in on. So Deep Throat's been putting out content on Surfer's channel.
Surfer's hilarious.
He's done Surfer as Doctor Who. Pretty Kino intro, by the way.
The intros are very Kino. I love the surfers.
I would fucking watch.
I love
If Surfer
the
was
flashing
Doctor Who,
surfer.
I'd fucking watch that in a heartbeat.
This really, Surfer just needs to use this like as his intro because it's kind of
It's the fate
perfect.
of the sector.
I mean, now that Deep Throat is officially retired and fucked off, he should just use that as his intro.
Rest in peace, Gonzo. You'll be missed.
There is a new version of the Kino Casino made by Adam. In a sense, this is a futile effort from all of us.
Wait a minute.
Adam, Perspicacity, Ralph, Shaggy,
That was just a fuck with people.
Elaine, or whoever is digging up the grave of this temple. Taking the skeleton.
Psychic warfare.
Still living. The novelty of it. And Adam's way with words can at first trick us into thinking it's alive.
It is alive.
Yes. So, what ... is referencing is there's an episode of Deep Space Nine where Cisco, Kira, and Kai, the Kai at the time, crash land on a planet, and everybody on the planet is trapped there. And everybody is implanted with cyborgs that every time they're killed, they'll come back to life. But they're also entirely dependent on the technology because they've all died. Most of them have died already. So if they deactivate the cyborgs that are keeping them alive and that have rebuilt organs, then a lot of the people will die. So they're like trapped in a purgatory on this planet. And they're like, you know, they're just in this perpetual state of war and killing each other, but nobody can die and nobody can ever lose. Nobody can win and nobody can lose unless there's peace on the planet. So the Kai stays behind. She gets killed on the planet and realizes that even if they deactivate the nanites, they'll kill all the people on the planet, including the Kai. So they leave her there and she tries to teach them peace. It's a great episode. S9.
It's more alive than ever.
Look at his voice quivers, the resign. He knows it's dead, and he is nearly brought to tears when this fact is brought up. Because it's another arena which he has failed in. He failed his family, himself, his nation, and now he fails the sector. The same way he failed to be a father, to be sober. He failed to keep
He's
his
not
sector
Doctor
alive,
Who.
because we killed it, just to spite
He's not a
Adam,
Time Lord.
to take away the only thing he had. Keep quivering at him because I am coming, boy.
I thought you were tired. How are you coming?
You don't even realize that you are trapped.
Even if somehow Ashton and Andy go bankrupt,
By the way.
king of the dirt pile, without enemies, what is it allowed? Which brings us to Elaine.
I'm happy to be king of this dirt pile.
If somehow Ashton and Andy go bankrupt, the casino closes for good, Josh goes to jail.
Great.
What then? Who will be the king of the dirt pile? Without
That would
We
probably
could only
be,
hope
me.
that Josh
be
goes
king
to
of the
jail
dirt
in
pile.
his
Found
lol.
myself
Can you imagine Josh in his lol suit gets really bold and reveals that, you know, he actually lives in the United States in his grandfather's basement, and he goes to court, you know, to get this ruling, and they just arrest him. They throw him on the ground, they beat him, and they arrest him, and they throw him in jail. Great.
glorious lord of the sector. And reign over it,
It's a
stick
shit.
in hand, like a malevolent god. I don't know.
enemy. This is an interesting comment, as both Shaggy and Godwin's son were proud to be kings of a dirt pile. You know why? Because both of them are losers in real life, hated by their families, two black sheeps, who waste away their days in
Endless circles.
taking substances and substituting real life
Squire's busy.
interaction for online parasocial relationships.
I'm
For
sorry.
Godwin's son, he has an online homosexual relationship with an Iranian man from America. What happened to unity he preached the white British to
Nobody
have?
knows what you're
He told the
talking
needs
about.
to get out of their
Warhammer.
bedroom to elevate the white race.
I
The
have no
capos he
fucking
had prior
idea
to
what you're
PPP
talking
were two
about,
white
bro.
British men. His blood not thicker than water? What happened to?
England for the English.
Where have they gone? He has replaced them with his gay brown boy.
Well, anyway, you get the fucking idea. So, in the comments, look who it is. I don't think Bryan forgives. I think Bryan never forgives. I think Bryan is completely full of shit. Look who it is. Fuck the writer's room. Good to see you're still around, Bri. You're still yourself. This is fake bullshit with Christ. So in response to this video, Bryan re-released his old Caesar video, which we're not going to replay because I've already played it on the show 5 times. All right. Now, just a little update in the realm of Kino Casino. During my interview with Andy's victim, Raven, Kardsky himself sent out his paid clip editor goon, who runs at Kino Casino, flaked and baked to dox her. The Kino Casino is harassing single moms with cancer and trying to blackmail kill stream guests. The attempt to censor the truth won't work. Grossly was never a co-host for the Kino Casino Warhammer. And then it has, I'm talking about her and all her personal business. So just a little update for the casino fans. Check Ross' Twitter. There's some bullshit going on with COG, but I think it's all just fucking nonsense. I cannot, even if it's mildly interesting with COG, unless he's showing his disgusting crash-ridden apartment, I have no interest in COG at all. Gator wrote a poem for Jim. Jeez, what are you tweeting now? No more Kino Casino news. The vax has been suspended in over 20 countries counting because of blood clots and stuff that may include death. Andy's been vaxxed anyway. So they're together out of spite. My update on that is play the extra. My update on that is spite relationship. We have a 600-pound man possessed with spiteful spirits in his heart that he has to stay with a crackhead. Not because he needs the money. Not because he can't do a show on his own. But because he's a lazy fat tard who really wants to spite all the people who said that Andy would snake him in the end, which he has, because he's doing his own solo show. Your show sucks worse than ever. Nobody cares. Nobody clips it. Nobody watches it. But the spite hold remains. Till Andy ODs in that apartment, he'll never let go. Or until he eats himself to death. He's never going to let go of Andy. He wants to listen to Andy talk to his girlfriend on Discord all day who lives in Australia. And that is his life. He's so angry that he had to move out and not spy on Andy as he talks to his girlfriend in a jealous rage. That bitch won't break us apart. I could hear it going through his mind. He wants Andy so bad. He's in love with Andy. All his ex-lovers watch. And to spite them, he must stay with Andy, even though it's unreciprocated. I mean, it's impossible for you to have had sex, Ashton. I don't know what to say to you, bro. It's physically impossible. And Andy might die in the act. But you still yearn for it, buddy, and I don't know what to say except I'm sorry. That crackhead will OD before you get a hold of him. Maybe you'll hump his corpse after he shoots up and gets some bad dope or something. Maybe you could get a hold on him while he's still warm. But it ain't happening right now. It's not happening right now, buddy. I'm sorry. All right. Now to finish off with Stu Crew. This is an amazing story from Stu. It's titled, Jab Victim Discharging Biological Creatures. 30-year-old reports horror after Moderna shot. We'll end out with this. And as you can hear, my voice is like really dead.
When she's not appearing on this program, Dr. Ariana Love is doing what she can to help the thousands, no, millions of global citizens who are suffering from the effects of these shots that our medical establishment rushed out and then forced onto countless people under the threat of losing their jobs.
Yes, still. Keep
One
up
of
the
Dr.
fight,
Love's
Stu.
patients is a young woman called Vernetta. Vernetta's just 30 years old, healthy. But right now she's completely unable to work after receiving the Moderna shot. Vernetta believes that synthetic biological creatures have been growing inside of her. She sees them in her
Vernetta might have schizophrenia. I hate to tell you, Stu.
stools. She's been coughing them up. She's been throwing them up as well. She says that
She's
she
been
can feel them
okay,
crawl-
hold on a second. Hold on.
creatures have been growing inside of her. She sees them in her stools. She's been coughing them up. She's been throwing them up as well.
She sees them in her stool. She's been throwing them up and coughing them up as well. I hope she took pictures of these, Stu, or else I'm going to have a serious problem with this story.
She says that she can feel them crawling under her skin and around in her brain. Even worse, besides losing her ability to work,
Fuck you. If
Vernetta
you're not a
has also
fan
been
of Stu, get
abandoned
the
by her
fuck out
family
of here.
completely and now is facing homelessness. She does have a GiveSend Go account, which we will link below.
I just lost like 20 people. No, I didn't mean it. You should enjoy Stu. This is going to be a great story.
Detail, so I'm assuming that her family has abandoned her because she's crazy, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, if she's coughing up and shitting out and vomiting up these creatures, people would be able to see them. You know.
Understand what she's going through, and there's cognitive dissonance, and they're not helping her.
Yeah, of course it's goofy as shit. It's Stu Peters.
Your patient is going through.
Okay, so she's my client. As a naturopath, I have clients.
Naturopath.
Not patients, but anyway, it's U.S. government rules. But
yes, you can have patients if you don't practice medicine. Just FYI.
And I'm all of a sudden on TV, so forgive the vernacular. Client.
Yeah, well, I could get in trouble if I use the wrong
I get
words.
it.
But
what is Vernetta dealing with?
So she's been, well, she had a Moderna shot, and from
you notice this crazy ass lady is not appearing. She's got a representative that is I don't know. What did she say she was?
It's a horror show. I mean, she's been in treatment.
Holistic.
She didn't have my protocol at first. She had CDS, so she was using that.
She's using a protocol to purge the biological beings that are growing inside her from the Moderna shot that are created by her schizophrenic mind.
Chlorine dioxide. It's the hydrogen and oxygen.
Chlorine dioxide. Not a good idea, ladies and gentlemen.
Redox molecules.
Oh my God.
They
for real with this?
Slower acting, and it was causing her to vomit and throw up. I mean, she was sick all through the night, but she had to combat these things that were growing inside of her, and she had them coming out in her stool, and we could see those hydras. They're white with tentacles, and they're swimming around, and lots of them, thousands of them. And also some weird organoid that came out. It looked like an organoid. It was still.
For the audience that doesn't know, chlorine dioxide, I believe, is used as a bleacher. Like you bleach wood with it. I'm pretty sure. I might have actually used it once or twice. I'm pretty sure you use it to bleach wood. But this lady's having this, take this chlorine dioxide and it'll purge the biological creatures inside of you. And she's, of course, throwing out blood and stuff, organoids, because she's drinking a literal bleaching agent. So, she's vomiting up blood, and then she's taking pictures of it, and she thinks it's biological creatures. Meanwhile, it's your blood mixed with whatever's in your stomach acid. But organoids.
Moving it. It was, bizarre stuff. She spit something out once that had it was dead, but it had a tentacle.
Look at that thing.
And it's hard to explain these things. And then also something came out one night that she took a
I
picture.
don't know. That kind of looks like
and it had this tail on it, looked like a reptile tail or something.
I don't know what that is. It's probably completely unrelated footage.
One
but
night
let's see
that she took a picture of, it was the size of her hand, and it had this tail.
I'm not really sure what that is. It doesn't quite look like a tapeworm. Although it's hard to tell because it's in all that mucus. You can't really make out what it is. It could be a tapeworm. I mean,
on it, like a look like.
I mean, somebody, you know, it's probably a video of someone shitting out a tapeworm. It's moving kind of like a tapeworm
or something. So
a reptile tail. Sweetheart, maybe the girl, I don't know. She's a little crazy. Maybe she's eating some raw pork or something. You know.
These things look like synthetic biology. She says she can feel them crawling inside of her skin. She can see them under the skin moving.
You think
there's
Chat, do you think this bitch has got trichinosis? I mean, is that possible? It's just phlegm and she's running the tap. Tapeworms aren't that big. Tapeworms can be quite large. That's not true. Well, I never thought you were a vaccine shill, Persip. The organoids are turning the frogs gay. Breathe fumes, it's the only way.
With this one thing in her head, and you could see she had this pouch that formed on her forehead, and it was black. It was like dark.
So she had a pouch that was incubating on her forehead that was brooding worm-like organisms from the vax.
Dark black blood, and yet it was moving. And she said she could feel it moving all the way around her head, and she felt like it was clamping on her head, and it would move around. It would keep her awake at night, scared her to death.
This woman is not schizophrenic at all. Truly. What is that movie? Dreamcatcher. The Dreamcatcher slimy snake things infested her body and are literally eating around the top of her temple in circles, and she can't even sleep anymore. Incredible.
And she finally, when she got my protocol, and
Dude, look at Stu. He's trying to hold that face as hard as possible. That's when you know, like, Stu is a master actor. But he will hold his face in this stone face position when people are saying like the craziest bullshit in an attempt not to laugh. 100%.
First time it went silent. And she said it moves very rarely, but we were getting better progress with my protocol. But
nobody could see any of these things.
She needs help to afford it. So I thought, Vernetta is a lovely young lady. She's 30. She had a life going for her, and now everything's been destroyed. And she's a, very good Christian.
Perfect age to come down with schizophrenia, unfortunately, for the girl.
Lady.
He's almost as good as Tucker.
You've seen these things. I mean, you've studied this stuff. You've looked at the patents. This is real, isn't it?
You've looked at the patents. Described in the patents, it says that you will manifest alien organisms in your bloodstream and stomach and intestines, and you will shit out, vomit, and cough up small organisms that look like lizard tails and various other organoids that are growing so that they can be implanted into the alien hive that has taken over the government.
I mean, this is actually happening. People
don't
really want to believe that. There's a lot of people who would say, you're crazy, you're nuts. There's people that are going to say, I'm nuts for having you on this program and spewing this kind of rhetoric, but this isn't...
Surfer. She should have captured it and showed it to her family. Surfer. It's not real.
A conspiracy
there is
theory
nothing
at all, in your opinion.
They magically disappeared when her family came in.
I have multiple clients, same thing, similar things, horror stories. It's going on. It's real. They say that there's things crawling in their head.
What the fuck is that?
Clamp onto their body. It moves around.
Oh my god! This invasion of this body snatchers. It looks like a really gross booger. That's what that looks like. Or really nasty earwax. Not really sure.
In their body, and they can feel it, and it's I mean, I believe them. And it's
or a piece of cheese. Well, Hold on a second. Let's examine this picture. I actually think this is a piece of cheese from like a grilled cheese or something, because you could see the little, like the little shredded cheese here that's not quite melted with the rest of this. I think this is just a piece of cheese.
Fast in their body.
I'm pretty sure this is just cheese and grease that dripped on a hat. That's what it looks like.
I believe them. And it's not just me.
The
it's
nasty
other
grilled cheese,
doctors. When I talk with the medical doctors for COVID ethics and, you know, people in the group, they're experiencing the same thing. We know
So wait,
about
there's MDs that are admitting that this
Yes,
is
it's the
happening
snails from
to
Scuffed
victims
Express
of these
episode 1.
bioweapon shots.
Bioweapon shots. Now, in that, under that patent that was described, and the lab testing that was done on those vaxes in that report, the vaxes had hedgehog venom, and they also had the hedgehog DNA and hedgehog venom, and it had snail venom that was very poisonous to humans. It was a neurotoxin that made your immune system susceptible to nanites. And that was all the way back in episode 1.
publicly, but yeah.
Well, why
yeah,
not?
right.
Why aren't they saying it publicly?
I don't know, but I'm sure they see things. I'm sure they see things. I can't say maybe they are afraid of losing their license. I don't know. I can only make assumptions.
I don't really give a damn about their license, you know? I mean, I'm getting so frustrated hearing that. Dr. Malone was over here saying the same thing. I can only tell you some of the truth, but not all of the truth, because otherwise they'll take my license. These people are
this is news.
Almighty license
I can
instead
talk
of bowing before Almighty God and doing the right thing among other Jesus-loving Christians, fellow humans. Like, I mean, that is not justification for staying quiet. I could have continued being a bounty hunter. I was providing for my family, doing quite well, actually.
Stu as a bounty hunter was really based. He had the dog and the music. He was also a rapper. So he had like the music and everything. He was great as a bounty.
Little to no stress other than, you know.
Little to no stress, except for fake breaking into people's houses.
Of people with guns who wanted to do anything that they could to keep from going to prison for raping somebody.
Turn it up. It's all the way up.
But this is a whole lot more
Hold on a
stressful
second.
than...
Has it been low this whole time?
that even. And now my family is being attacked. Somebody's tried to kill me twice by having me swatted. Look, I'm not here because I want accolades for that, and I'm not looking for an attaboy or a pat on the back, but where the hell is everybody fighting alongside of me? I mean, you're here, Dr. Ruby's here, we have the occasional people coming through, but if there are MDs and doctors that are out here not saying what they know because of their license, then they are the enemy of the people, and they should be locked up. These people should be prosecuted and tried for crimes against humanity. These people who are staying quiet are equally as guilty as the people who manufactured, intentionally released the bioweapon virus out of Wuhan, China, and then brought in these shots. Am I the only one that feels like this, Dr. Love?
I feel like you do. I feel like you do. But I know there's good people working.
Well, we have insane people going around saying they're growing organisms. Then, yeah, it does kind of make everybody look really dumb who didn't believe in the vax.
Scenes, and they feel they can be more effective.
But
that
I
way.
love it.
There's some people like that.
I love it anyway.
I mean, it's a mix. It's a mix. It's a mix, and everybody has to make that judgment call for themselves. Me, I'm all in. I'm all for the truth.
Yeah, I know that. I don't know how working behind the scenes.
Yes,
and
he did say he was alone.
Quiet is helping anything. It's BS, is what it is. It's a cop out and it's an excuse because they're scared for themselves. They're thinking only about saving their own necks.
China.
Vernetta has a Give Send Go account, which we're going to link below the video on Rumble.
Well, please tell me we get
It's also at stupeters.com in case you're watching this video on some other platform. If somebody shared it, grabbed it, screen recorded it, which we encourage, by the way. We don't have any problems with that. We want the
to
word
this
getting
woman
out everywhere.
who's growing organisms out of her body, and she's being treated holistically with something that wasn't ever described or touched upon.
We are down to do that.
Oh, she's being treated with chlorine dioxide. That's right. She's being treated with a bleaching agent. The bleaching agent, she's going to bleach out the black. And hopefully that'll also get rid of her parasitic organisms.
MDs that are shameful.
Vax police in
Dr.
jail.
Love, thank you, by the way, for being all in and for introducing,
or he might be back
you
out
know,
again. We
treatments,
can check in on
and
back.
for giving
Boys.
people hope
It
in
might be
times
a
like
rumble.
this, because our real hope lies in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who is almighty powerful, who conquered death itself and died on the cross to save us. God wins in the end. Dr. Love, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
The unvaxxed.
Thanks
sure.
for having me.
These people need to speak up. I'm not going to apologize for saying what I said either. It's complete BS.
Oh, look at Stu.
All right, so, you know, I hear a lot of people complaining about waking up in the
And
morning
these
and instantly
organisms
wishing that they
gonna
just had
be
another hour
fucked
of
beyond
sleeping.
belief with
Snooze
all that
button, hope the
snoring,
next
yeah.
time that they hear the alarm goes off, that they'll feel
Cokehead.
more
Andy
energized.
would have cokehead.
A lot of
organisms.
people have those mornings. The worst part is trying to turn your brain on to keep up with the demands of the day. Maybe you didn't get enough
That
sleep,
lady
or
has
you
a
have
brain
brain
parasite,
fog for
maybe.
whatever reason. Maybe your energy is low. You just can't concentrate. Bioweapons floating around all over the place. Maybe you feel
bioweapons floating around all over.
Distracted, like you're not getting enough
You're
done.
distracted. If you're distracted from the bioweapons floating around you, you should buy this.
If you want to say goodbye to those bad days for good, go to dominanceondemand.com right now. Dominanceondemand.com. Imagine having control over how you feel and being able to turn on your brain within 10 minutes of waking up without coffee or caffeine. Simply just flick a switch and turn on your brain within 10 minutes of waking up in the morning and be totally engaged, totally focused, upbeat, productive, no matter what gets thrown at you.
Hold on, I want to examine what this pill is. Does it say what it is? Newtopia. Let me look this up. Newtopia. I want to see what this is. He doesn't have the Hasidic Jew anymore. That peddles his bullshit. Bubble mice. Doesn't even say what it is. These pills are $95? Is this for real? Oh my God. Look at this. These pills are $95. Save 32%. 20 doses. $95. Concentration on demand. Extended energy without the jitters. What is it? It doesn't even say what it is. How is that even possible? I don't know if that's even legal. They don't even tell you what it is. What is it? Sold out. Hold on. If I add it to cart, will it go? Do anything. Doesn't say what it is. Oh well. Curious. The blog. How to detox your brain. Let's see if they describe anything. Deep sleep. Exercise. Omega-3s. Intermittent fasting. Minimize toxin exposure. Well, it doesn't describe anything that's in the... Oh my God. Well, that's what that is.
OnDemand.com right now. DominanceOnDemand.com. Imagine having control over how you feel and being able to turn on your brain within 10 minutes of waking up without coffee or caffeine. Simply just flick a switch and turn on your brain within 10 minutes of waking up.
I know,
it's
all
totally
stock
engaged,
photo images and
totally
stock
focused, upbeat,
it's literally
productive,
like, that is literally an AI article. That's why I didn't even bother to read it, because it was clearly written by an AI with all stock photos and everything.
No matter what gets thrown at you. Go to dominanceondemand.com right now and check out the products. I've been taking them for 2 months. I see a huge difference in my daily activity, my memory, all kinds of different things. There's a little quiz that you can take, a little test,
or whatever,
a
you can get
informational thing that you can put in there. It'll spit out exactly what you need to see about yourself. Go to dominanceondemand.com right now. Be dominant. Be on demand. Be ready to go. Go to dominanceondemand.com.
Uncle Sam says you're a terrorist if you know vaccines are dangerous, but the real Osama bin boosted are getting sick, and Fauci can't hide it. One man has had enough of the madness.
Facts, please.
There's a sheriff coming after the shot shills.
I'm going after them individually. Every single one of them. Individually. I'm coming after you. Every one of them I am.
Christopher Key has founded Vaccine Police, and he will arrest tyranny.
Then they can be hung up.
Arrest them.
and they can be executed. So this stops. It stops here, guys.
Uh-oh.
Let's go in.
He's
Vaccine
gonna
mandates
execute
for
him.
kids. No. Mask mandates for little Mikey. Heck no.
He's gonna execute
School
the
boards
people
have been
trying
put
to
on
vax
notice.
our
No man
kids.
is evil, and I know man is all about money and power.
It's open season on treason. Vaccine police are on patrol. Old Bill Clutchill, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when vaccine police come for you? Support the resistance. Go to vaccinepolice.com. Forget the woo flu. Back the blue. Vaccinepolice.com.
All right, we're going to vaccinepolice.com. We're going to see what's up with the Vax Police. Forbidden. 403 forbidden. No, Vaccine Police. No. Unfortunately, when you go to vaccinepolice.com, you get this message. Forbidden. 403 forbidden. Vaccine Police, no. Dude, you're still running these ads? Oh, this was a year ago. Well, it doesn't matter. I love the little updates. Stu must not have updated this in quite a while. His shorts on Rumble. I used to watch these sometimes. But that was the best one, I think. Any closing thoughts? Any potential callers? Anybody out there? Oh, and I can cover this. Interesting. While we're waiting. I'll let you read that while I look for some music. I don't know what this is, but it was the next song on the queue. I don't know how I feel about that. Whoa, listen to this. All right, we're getting some club music on. Should have played some club music while Bryan was going. Call Bryan and apologize. What do you want to call in, Surfer? You could call in. I scored a goal, person. Boomers must eat this shit up. I think Stu posts on his proper Rumble. He does. He's current. The shorts he doesn't keep up. Look up Feed McCullough's The Wellness Company. Yeah, I know about the McCulloughs. The McCulloughs also got in trouble for selling bleach to people too. Yeah, I'll show that. Hold on. I gotta pull it up. We call them the bleach salesmen. I can't find any of their stuff. Let me look at what he linked. If you ever start to grift, I'll donate. Okay, official Perspicacity merch. Yeah, right. Who knows? Ralph really wanted me to grift bad, and I always said, Ralph, I don't know, man. I just don't feel it. Plant extract, so a wellness company. I looked it up, but nothing's coming up. I wonder if they made them take everything down. Oh, here we go. No, I don't think this is them. Is this them? Okay, here we go. PWC. Getting a lot of random stuff. And then we can talk about Joshikins. Juice. Juice. Not juice. Juice. Spike support. Let's see how much they... You can get spike support for $65. And that's a discount. Vaccinated or not, taking your health seriously has never been. Dandelion root and nattokinase. I mean, literally everybody has dandelions growing in their backyard. God only knows what they even put in this. Dandelion root. The old snake oil salesman remedy, dandelion root. Great, isn't it? Wow, this is some really busy music. Oh my god, that's really gay. I might have to use that for something. Oh yeah, that's like Blade. That reminds me of the opening of the original Blade. Listen to that one. That might be from the opening of the original Blade. Will they regrow my teeth? I'm sure they'll try to sell you that. So we have Josh, and says, I would like to thank Epic for retracting this harmful and untrue statement. And this is from Epic LLC. It says, Epic retracts its statement in regards to Kiwi Farms at kiwifarms.net having child sex abuse material on its website. While Epic may not agree with content that may be on its website, Epic has no direct knowledge of child sexual abuse material on Kiwi Farms' website. Pussy bitch. Epic retracts its statement in regards to that. Okay, it's the same. For some reason, he took 2 different screenshots of it. Good for you, Josh. Shit. So what is it? So now what is Josh going to do with all of this money now that he's raised? Over like $300,000. You know he's going to put it right in his pocket. Ultimate fucking scam. Just absolute fucking scammer. Scammer Josh. He's got all the friggin' pay pigs on the farm's money. And now he's going to run off with it. There is no case. There's nothing. I saw his lawsuit. He was going to lose anyway. What a piece of shit. Shut up, Bronx. Your love of fucking Josh. Look at this fucking loser. Absolute piece of shit. They put the most flattering picture of him. He still looks deranged. The Death Note. You know he's writing people's names in that nonstop like Bryan. That would end the overpopulation crisis. Just give Bryan and Josh a real Death Note. Half the world is dead. Look at all these people sucking his ass. Even Like I Care is posted. Anyways. Notice Josh hasn't updated a picture in 15 years. Total Josh Vick. Well, I'm glad that your money is wasted. Worthless. Josh gonna run away with that money. Well, that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're at about exactly where I want to end. We're at about 100 minutes, which is actually, I want to go 90 minutes. So we're at 104 minutes. Very happy with that. Very happy with that indeed. I'll keep it open for a few minutes if you'd like to call in. I guess I should, you know what? I'll make a little Discord thing. We'll invite people into it. How the hell did you get in here? Okay, that's interesting. If you'd like to call in. That's all bullshit. It even says in the contract that he can keep all the money and that it doesn't have to be used for the lawsuit. Stop coping with this. This guy says the money is in, I can't remember what the words mean. An IOLTA. He can't cut and run with it. That doesn't mean what you think it means. It just means that he can, it's in like an account, but we don't know how much was Bitcoin. We don't know how much was cash. We don't know anything. So all of that money, all of the crypto just went towards his own. Well, that's a little much too. All the crypto went towards him. He doesn't even have to disclose the crypto. And all that money will be dispersed if there's no lawsuit. Back to Josh anyway. And he received a bunch of money personally. I think his lawyer is holding the funds in it. It's not technically an escrow. Yeah, well, it just means he can't take it without good reason. He could take it. His good reason now is that there's no more lawsuit. There's his good reason. Stick to fighting with someone on your level like Bryan. Fuck Josh. Here, I'll put out the link. You've got 5 minutes to call in. So weird that this was recommended. It's Extreme Trip to Transylvania, as in trance. In the Mix, 1997. This sounds right out of 1997. If I could find an old techno album that I had from. While I wait for nobody to come, because I know you're all pussies. I'm talking. What this one has the name. No, everybody knows that one. I don't know why you would give your name to Josh, your name, your address, and your credit card number. That sounds really dumb. I was never denied mod on the... Maybe, was I? Hold on a second. It's too busy. It's all gonna be busy because it's 90s techno. This is all gonna be super busy. It's not. Guessed you. I'm not having any luck with music. All right. Do I have anybody who's willing to call in? Is there anybody out there? Fire the DJ. Is there anybody out there?
Hey,
hello,
Persa,
sir.
what's up?
Hello, sir. What do you have to
big
say?
time fan.
Okay.
Hey, I just want to ask, what happened to Godwinson? He like disappeared out into the void.
He's on the mothership right now.
He was like talking about how he was gonna have a big comeback, and then he like he created a kick channel and he was hyping it up on Twitter, and then no showed, and now he's just lurking in the Kino Casino
He
chat.
probably lost the login and just said fuck it. If I know him. No.
Bro, it's crazy.
That's probably the most honest answer. I shouldn't give the audience an honest answer. That's probably the honest answer.
Like what's going on with the sector? It's just every single person is like either fucking they got CP or they're a fucking like tranny. Like it's insane. Like everybody's fucking degenerate. Like,
yeah,
did
well,
you hear,
that's kind of how it is. It's just like the farm, the farms is like that. All these places are like that. It's all infested with trannies and weirdos.
did you hear about it was when you were streaming on earlier, Ralph was talking about he hit the goal, so he did like an expo on Warski.
Yes.
And he was saying that like Warski was sexting a 15-year-old girl.
Yes.
And he had the receipts for it.
On Instagram, yeah. This story broke I want to say 7 years ago, and he got caught sexting a 15-year-old on Instagram. Yes, that did happen. And confirm.
Holy shit. And then PPP's gonna
everything with Andy though is just ignored. It's just like, oh, whatever. He said he was hacked and it wasn't really him or something. That's what Andy does. He gets hacked every time.
Yeah, and every single time that he gets hacked, air quotes, it's always like revenge porn of like his ex-girlfriends and shit.
Yes, he has leaked many nudes of his ex-girlfriends on Twitter and said he was also hacked then. Ralph used to tell me all the time that Andy Warski would literally, every time he was talking to a girl and would get nudes, he'd show everybody.
Oh my god.
He'd show all the guys. There'd be like big group chats and he'd be like, look at this bitch's nudes. Look at this bitch's. It was kind of wild.
I just can't stand him. He literally sounds like Courage the Cowardly Dog every time he fucking talks. He's like, oh my god.
It's sound effects.
I just can't wait for his fucking Kurt Cobain spiral. Because you know he's gonna start doing drugs once that bitch moves in.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, he's already
way
doing
harder.
the drugs. You think Andy is sober? I seriously.
Oh no,
doubt it.
no. Like way fucking harder. Like the crazy shit.
You think
like
they'll
the
just do meth
and...
together?
Yeah,
Toronto is a meth capital. Canada.
Yeah. It'll literally be like you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the meth couple that like kills each other over the fucking bag of crystal?
I vaguely remember that episode, yes.
That's literally gonna be Worski. But
yeah,
instead of the ATM, it's PPP falling over.
Will
on
he
him.
call Ashton to help him cut up the body of the girlfriend?
Probably. I mean, if he doesn't kill him first, like what's gonna stop?
I don't know. Andy doesn't have any brain cells left. He might survive, and that it won't be won't be such a shock to his system if he loses a few more. But maybe she'll go down. We know she's deep into the meth as well. She talks about it constantly.
Bro, she's just.
Somebody says that she's going to be his Courtney Love. That'd be interesting as well. She's more a Yoko than a Courtney, but
she is. Like, I'm personally thinking this whole thing's going to peter out to be like they're together. Orski's going to have her on a stream, but the comments and shit are just going to make him go even more insane. And then he's just going to fucking like start spiraling.
Well, what's going to happen
she's just going to make it worse.
Well, I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to integrate her into the show because we know she's had shows before and she's also like begged. Like I saw the DMs last stream. We showed the DMs of her begging Tommy C for nudes and to just acknowledge her and she'll send him whatever he wants. I mean, it's insane. Tommy C, a fat old man from Jersey. She was desperate.
Oh my god.
Andy was like the last possible choice. It was Tipster before Andy. It was Diorio before Andy. All these people. That Chris the Narc character. Probably Salvo too. I'm probably sure that she was throwing herself at Salvo. He had so many women he was talking to, though. Maybe she got lost in the sauce or something. I should ask Salvo if he was deeply involved with that Leanna.
Dude, the common denominator with all of these people, they're all like fucking substance users. Like everyone's got a drug problem, everyone's got a drinking problem. Like they're all fucked up. So like, if that's the kind of people she's like trying to climb the ladder on, like,
well,
holy shit.
She's Faith Vickers, except she's 50 years old, Australian, and did meth.
Doesn't she have kids too?
At her age, you would think she'd have some kids. She looks like she probably has some kids, but I don't see any evidence of or any words of any children. Think she's going to move her kids in with Andy Worski?
Well, that's what Ralph was talking about, because I think he said she had kids.
Wait a second. Ralph said this?
Yeah, I could have sworn it was
Ralph,
like
are you listening
earlier
right
last
now?
week.
Ralph, if you want to confirm this, just tell me.
Because he said she may have been trying to get a green card. So, if you got kids, that helps with getting a green card too. So.
Well, yeah, of course. Marrying.
So I wouldn't be shocked.
Andy gonna get married by a fat 50-year-old Australian woman to get a green card?
I mean,
that's pretty bad.
It's easier, but I think she doesn't need it because she's from Australia and they have like some stupid shit where it's like Commonwealth. So like if you're from a Commonwealth country, it's like a lot easier to get in. But yeah, she could be trying to cut the line. But I think she's just doing it because she's a meth head crack whore. So
yeah, it's tough to be Andy. Tough to be Ashton. Ashton's been replaced by a 50-year-old Australian meth head. That's a really got to sting. Had to move into a separate apartment because of it. Because Andy's got to live with her.
Oh my God.
Well, I guess he had to stay and take over the rent on that giant apartment, which probably hurts. Because the rent has got to be a ton, especially in Toronto.
Isn't it his father's like spare apartment or some shit?
Well, it was, but they moved from there. So.
You know that place is gonna look like the Vickers. It's just gonna be a complete fucking.
It looks worse than the Vickers. Sure.
Holy shit.
I mean, if you ever saw Surfers when Ashton was living there, it's pretty tough.
Oh, it wasn't that bad in like the Snickerdoodle swastika stream. That's like the only time I've seen it.
Well, Surfer used to keep it really clean, but Ashton's area with the couch was pretty tough. Surfer's kind of a clean freak. He's constantly clean.
How the fuck did the couch stay standing? That's what I want to know.
Well, it didn't. It was like sunken in. It was completely destroyed. This couch was completely destroyed. Surfer always shows pictures of it. I don't have any pictures currently.
Holy shit.
How do you feel about Bryan?
About Queen of Paws?
Mm-hmm.
It's just entertaining as fuck. Just watching this meltdown. He's doing like the whole Christ grift. Have you ever heard of Michael Voris? I know Ralph did a brief cover on him. He was basically this like trad Catholic guy who would be like a muckraker for like church gossip, and then it came out he was like a drug using gay dude closeted.
Okay.
And like he pretty much was like going after dudes for being like closeted, but then he himself was closeted, and he'd like scream about how like he was like paying bishops and shit who got kicked out of the church to like create his own church around him. Like it was some crazy shit. Like that's the same vibe that Bryan gives me. It's just like schizophrenic gay man energy.
You take that back.
Oh, a new person has joined us. Hello, sir.
Percep.
Yes.
How could you snake on Stu?
Snake on Stu. I love Stu.
You snaked on Stu. You didn't believe the organoids, man.
No, I didn't.
You were
believe
making
the
fun
organoids,
of. You were making fun of Dr. Anastasia and her bleach
agent and coughing
therapy.
up blood was. I don't think those were organoids. She was drinking bleaching agent. she was drinking bleaching agent.
It was the Hydra's percept.
Yeah, it was the
Hydras.
It was Hydra organoids.
It was
man.
Hydra organoids. Was just her blood congealed in her stomach acid with probably food particles, and she's coughing.
I mean, you thought it was grilled cheese, a grilled cheese organoid, though.
It burnt up her. Yeah, it was grilled cheese on the guy's hat. I don't think that was even related. They just showed that picture. They said this is also what something looks like that you could cough up, and it was like a piece of grilled cheese on somebody's hat. It was all greasy.
It was the Cesis snails. Let's get it right here. The ones Ashton's uncle sent.
Cesis snails?
Fucking... Yeah, you don't remember the Cesis snails?
I do remember this. That's episode 1 of Stu. Cesis snails.
Fucking Tardsky just sent them out. He told Ashton, we got to get rid of them. Everyone's going to make fun of me for being a fucking pad.
Poor Tardsky.
I don't know, man. Watching him fucking meltdown is pretty satisfying.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I like it that when they suffer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Watching him get pissed,
it's like suffer in the cope cage forever. That spite relationship.
What's up, Todd?
Dude, it's great because you see him angry, but he's 10 times as pissed behind the scenes. Like the second the girl started doing the interview, he was just immediately doxing and fucking screaming on making videos and shit. It was crazy.
I can't wait. Yeah, I know he doxed her immediately. But doxing is bad and wrong. And Ralph is a very evil man for doing it. So Andy does it regularly, all the time. So does that. And Ashton does too. I mean, Ashton has doxed a lot of people.
Well, wasn't it that Ass Ton was literally saying that it's okay Gabe Hoffman doxed a dude because you got to get on to Zion or some shit?
Yeah,
he literally said it was okay.
Of course he said that.
How far have the mighty fallen?
It's a descent that continues. He's fallen through the earth. Now they're hurtling towards the center. We'll see what happens. But I'll enjoy it. I knew they would stay together out of spite, and you could see the spite on their face. I love it.
It's gonna be interesting to see the girlfriend dynamics between the two, because he's gonna be pissed that fucking Tardsky's hanging out with this girl more than him, and not cleaning his room for him.
Well, that's already been happening. That's why they stopped. That's why they could only stream for a week at a time and then go on hiatus for a month because they've been fighting. Probably, I imagine so. I imagine they've been fighting about this chick and being distracted from me and our relationship. Worski, why don't you love me anymore? You're talking to this bitch on Discord 16 hours a day. You're not paying attention to me, Worski.
When was Worski with that British chick that Ralph interviewed today, the Elaine one?
I think last year was their last planned meeting last year.
Okay, and did he go straight to this Australian? So they've been together for a year?
He went straight to the Australian, yes, a year ago, and started posting kitty pictures to her every day. And she talks about, doing meth. It's a great relationship when your girlfriend is tweeting about doing meth, being a meth addict.
Really and Andy is really strong in his sobriety, so I think it's going to be okay.
Yes. So any final thoughts, callers? I wrap this stream. We're at a good timestamp. Just a little over 2 hours.
When's the next cheater stream?
Oh, I have no idea. I would have to. I got to remember my Rumble. It's a lot of work. Soon. I'll do a cheater stream. Why not? There's endless cheaters episodes that I could do. They're just a little low energy. You really got to be high energy unless you're doing it with other people.
Yeah. Didn't they bring the show back, I heard? Or no, is that just complete bullshit?
There was a black guy hosting it after the other guy OD'd. I don't know. I think I don't know if it ever quite went
Clark
off
Gable.
the air. Yeah, Clark Gable. Clark Gable OD'd, and then they had to replace him with a few different black guys. But I think I think the show is still going. People still watch that show.
Holy shit.
Any non-Joey Greco episodes are just kind of
Yeah, the Joey Greco ones are good because they're really staged up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything's perfect. There's always somebody getting like a blowy and then breaking into the house and people chained up to the wall. The Clark Gable ones are like that too, though, sometimes.
Joey's one-liners are killer. Like, there was this one episode, the guy's like, well, fuck me. And Joey's like, well, you see that as a possibility, but like, that's not one that I'm interested in. So, I'm like, holy shit.
Well, Persif, if I can just say my last thing
Yes.
here.
Go ahead.
You snaked Bryan.
Yes.
Strike 1. You snaked Stu. Strike 2. Okay.
I didn't
So I don't know what strike 3 is going to be.
Snake Stu. I love Stu. I was
No, you
about
snaked him.
His caller.
You
He was just
denied
listening. I
the
didn't say
existence
anything
of the
bad about Stu.
organoids.
But I said something about the holistic practitioner who was fighting organoid hydras. Okay.
The witch doctor.
Weren't you
Yeah.
in medical school? Did they teach you how to deny the existence of organoids, or did you not get to that class?
They did. Actually, yes, they did.
Okay,
That is a class. It's called Ethics 101. Yes.
Knew it.
Bioethics.
So you are the enemy of the people, as Stu said.
Yes.
He was literally talking about you. You
They
knew
teach you
about the
bioethics. They teach you
organoids.
not to say that a vaccine developed in 3 months is safe and effective. And they also teach you that you don't drink bleaching agent. When you throw out blood, say it's organoid hydras.
Bro, I'm sorry. I cannot believe
in the
that
same
PPP
class.
actually got fucking vaxxed.
Yeah,
That
you've
is
been
so
vaxxed the whole
ridiculous to me. That is so ridiculous. Like, Andy doesn't believe in anything.
Yeah, he was
He's
vaxxed
just a
when he
fucking
was living in the
retard.
cabin. He was vaxxed. That's so bullshit.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, he told
That's wild.
Medicare, he's like, oh, I didn't want to do it, but I had to. And he started like tearing up and shit. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
He did.
I'm shocked his heart doesn't explode being 600 pounds.
Well, no,
and
I
all
think
the
he tried to
fucking-
claim
He died in that
he was in
fucking cabin.
vaxxed. That's why he couldn't get a job. But he really
Yeah,
just-
he died in that cabin. This Tulpa got vaxxed.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling in. Appreciate you. Any final
Of course.
words, Wardino? Final words.
I'd say keep up the Kino. Keep trolling him. And yeah, just honor that Kino spirit.
I will try, sir.
Have a
I
good night.
appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you to the callers and all the pussies in the audience who won't call in. Can't believe you guys. Thought you had more sack than that. Bunch of people joined, but they never call in. I'm nuking this server like immediate. Thank you. All the loyal watchers that stuck with it for all the shit. I thought the Bryan segment was funny as fuck. I love Bryan on the farms, just nonstop responding to everybody, bumping his own thread. Every time there's activity in there, it's just Bryan. Then he goes, I got a thread on Kiwi farms, I can't believe it. They're trying to destroy my life on there. I don't understand why that thread even exists anymore. I asked for it to be taken down 50 times. They're trying to destroy my family. While Bryan bumps the thread and responds to every post frantically. So, salute to Bryan. I forgive you, Bryan. You know, Christ spoke to me and he told me, forgive Bryan. And I forgive you, buddy, for all of your transgressions against me. For all your transgressions against the writer's room. For all of your transgressions against mankind. I forgive you. Good night, ladies.